Hey everyone, so great to see you again. It's Judy from Coffee Cookies and Books, and I bet you're wondering what all this is. Well, if you stick around, you'll find out exactly what I'm up to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new vlog series. It's going to be quarterly, and these cards are going to determine what I read. So I'm going to call it the Love It or Lose It. So what that means is I read it and I either keep it or I get rid of it, or I DNF it and I get rid of it. So the idea is to read down my TBR a little bit more. I have a very large collection of books. I have, I think, about almost up to 900. Almost. We're getting there. And I have about 650 that I haven't read. So I've read, what, a little more than a quarter of them, maybe a third. So I mean, I've read quite a lot of them, but there's a lot of them that I haven't read. And what I want to do is I want to thin out what I have on my shelves. And I also want to get rid of anything that I DNF or that I didn't like. But I also just want to read down that number. I'd like to be at more the 50% mark, you know. I like the idea of having a huge library of books to choose from, but I also like the idea of having a lot of them read already. So that's what this is for. This is on top of my regular TBRs. This is also only once every 3 months. So we're going to pull it for April, May, and June. I'm going to read 5 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 piles. These are the piles that I use for my TBR game. You might recognize them from that. And we're going to choose these on a spinner wheel, okay? So the spinner wheel is going to go from 1 to 5. And I have on this particular spinner wheel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 5 times. So I've made it so that there's quite a few of them in each wheel. So hang on one second. Let me pull up the wheel. Okay, and I will show you exactly what it looks like. Just give me a sec. Should have had this up and ready already, but you know, I'm a slacker. Okay, so this is what my wheel looks like right now. Okay, I'm sure you can see that nice and clear. And of course, you can see that I have quite a lot of the numbers. So there's 5 numbers, 5 times. So 25 selections. And so we're going to spin this 5 times, and I'm going to pick 5 specific books. Now, if any of the books that I pick are secondary books for books that I'm reading right now, which usually doesn't happen because I usually don't put in the next book in the series until after I've read the books, because I don't always read my full TBR. But just in case I did it by accident, obviously we'll respin, okay? Because I think it's important that I am at least just following my series the way I should be following them. And I am just going to, I'm not, like, I want this to be a completely random pick. I just want to have some fun with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick our 5 books. So I'm just going to shuffle this a couple of times. Okay. And we're going to spin, and I'm just going to show it to you on the screen because it's just easier than me recording it. Okay. And so we've got our spin. Okay, and that is number 1. So we're picking from pile number 1. Okay, so, and I'm just going to shuffle them just like we do in the TBR game. Okay, I'll give it a shuffle and cut the deck and pick the top card. And our top card is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. So we'll go find that book in a bit because we're going to pull them all. Then I'm going to go find the books, and then I'll come back to you and we'll talk about each of them. Okay? So, but that, I think that one's pretty straightforward. Everybody knows that book. Okay, so shuffle again and spin. Come on, spin. Here we go. Okay. Number 1 again. Number 1 again. Okay. It shouldn't be doing that, but let's hope we get something different next time. Not that it really matters because these are completely random, but you never know, right? Okay. So, next one, I don't know what that is. You guys are getting first view. Grace and Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon. Okay, so we're going to put that one back, and we're going to take the next one because this is a Christmas one. And I don't want to read it right now. Okay? I mean, it's just because it is Christmas. So we'll leave that one. We'll stick it back in the pile. I'll put it at the bottom, and we'll pull the next one. Okay. Pucked. So I think that's a hockey romance, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think that's what that one is. Okay, so that's 2. So let's spin again. We get 1 again? Like, that's insane. I mean, okay, 1 again. But, you know, variety is the spice of life, right? Yeah. It would be much more fun if we had a little bit more variety, maybe. Okay. And here you go. The Woman They Could Not Silence. I think that's a nonfiction book, which is fine because that kind of makes things a little bit more interesting, right? Yep. Okay. I'm going to shuffle it again, and we'll try again. Really like to get something other than a 1. Okay. Here we go again. And did we get, no, we got 5 this time. So that would be this pile. It's like, thank goodness we got something different, right? All right, and split the pile and pull the first card. So you guys get to see it first. And it is Where Sleeping Girls Lie. Good choice. Okay. All right, then shuffle again and spin. Okay. One again. Okay. 1 again. Again, it really doesn't matter, right? Because they're all kind of random anyway. All right. And the selection is A Gathering of Shadows. I think that's V.E. Schwab, but we shall see. Okay, so we've picked all our books. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and gather them all and get back to you, and we're going to talk about them. All right, so I found our 5 books, and we'll just do a quick rundown on what they're all about. So the first one is Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I don't think it needs an introduction, but we will just read a little bit of the back. So that's this one here. It is a chunker. It is like almost 1,000 pages. Yeah, it is 1,000 pages. So, but it's a nice floppy book, so it shouldn't be hard read. But I would imagine this one is going to take me some time to get through. yes, it's going to be a bit of a journey, but I will be starting the Stormlight Archive, and we'll see what I think about it, because I have had quite a lot of people recommend this one, and it's always been on my radar, and I only have the first book. I don't have any of the other books because I just wanted to see if I would like it or not. So what it says on the back is, I long for the days before the last dissolution, the age before the heralds abandoned us and the knights radiant turned against us, a time when there was still magic in the world and honor in the hearts of men. The world became ours, and yet we lost it. Victory proved to be the greatest test of all. Or was that victory illusory? Did our enemies come to recognize that the harder they fought, the fiercer our resistance? Fire and hammer will forge steel into a weapon, but if you abandon your sword, it eventually rusts away. So I'm just going to read up to that point. And yeah, so very much looking forward to reading that one. I think that, you know, I like a bit of a blend of everything. Oh, yeah, and this one has like, just noticed, really nice map stuff on the inside. I do like a bit of a blend, so I think I'm going to enjoy this just simply because it's very different from anything that I've ever read previously. So for me, that's always a plus and a positive. So I will go through that and read that. That'll be on the vlog for sure. So this is all going to get vlogged just to be sure. And I am going to try to vlog it in order, but the likelihood is that I'll read this while I'm reading the other ones, because this one's so long, right? Okay, so next one is Pucked. This is a hockey romance. Okay, so that was what we picked next. And I know absolutely nothing about this one. I saw it on Book Outlet, thought it was cute. I got it super cheap. It was on the Book Outlet sale, which is $7.99 here in Canada. And it's not super long. I don't even know if it's just a little over, not even, little tiny bit over 300 pages. So let me read. She thought it was just one night, but hockey's biggest player wants more in this clever and sexy rom-com, which is, I like rom-coms. I don't like a lot of contemporary romance, but I do like rom-coms. Okay? Don't miss the New York Times bestselling series from Helen Hunting. I had zero interest in legendary hockey player Alex Waters or his pretty beat-up face and six-pack abs. Having a famous pro athlete for a stepbrother means I'm aware that a lot of these guys are notorious F-boys. The only hockey games I attend are under duress. That is until Alex starts talking books to me. Then he becomes more than just a hot body with the face to match. And soon I discover just how good Alex is with the hockey stick in his pants. But I consider our night of orgasmic magic just that, one night. Except Alex starts to call and text and email and send extravagant and quirky gifts. Suddenly, he's too difficult to ignore and nearly impossible not to like. The problem? Alex is a total player, and me, I don't want to be part of the game. So, sounds like it's going to be a fun ride. Like I said, I'm always into rom-coms, always enjoy those. If it's going to be a contemporary romance, that's what I tend to prefer a little bit. I do like, and I do read a lot of romances, but I prefer romantic suspense. I just find it just grabs me a little bit more and keeps my interest. Okay, so the next one is The Woman They Could Not Silence. One Woman, Her Incredible Fight for Freedom, and the Men Who Tried to Make Her Disappear. So that's this one. This is a nonfiction by Kate Moore. Is that the author? Yes, Kate Moore. Okay, so let's read a little bit. It says, 1860, as the clash between the states rolls slowly to a boil, Elizabeth Packard, housewife and mother of six, is facing her own battle. The enemy sits across the table and sleeps in the next room. Her husband, for 21 years, is plotting against her because he feels increasingly threatened by Elizabeth's intellect, independence, and unwillingness to stifle her own thoughts. So Theophilus makes a plan to put his wife back in her place. One summer morning, he has her committed to an insane asylum. The horrific conditions inside the Illinois State Hospital in Jacksonville, Illinois, are overseen by Dr. Andrew McFarland, a man who will prove to be even more dangerous to Elizabeth than her traitorous husband. But most disturbing is that Elizabeth is not the only sane woman confined to the institution. There are many rational women on her ward who tell the same story. They've been committed not because they need medical treatment, but to keep them in line, conveniently labeled crazy to their voices are ignored. No one is willing to fight for their freedom, and disenfranchised both by gender and the stigma of their supposed madness, they cannot possibly fight for themselves. But Elizabeth is about to discover that the merit of losing everything is that you then have nothing to lose. So I think that sounds amazing. Now, it is continued on the back, but I'm not going to talk about that. But there's a picture of the insane asylum in there, which you got to admit is kind of creepy looking, right? Yeah. Hold on, let me just get a better, so you guys can get a better look at it. There we go. So, and that's in Illinois. So I thought this sounded really interesting. Again, I got this for a really great price on Book Outlet, and thought I would give it a shot. You know, it is basically, I believe it's a nonfiction, and that it's based on either it's based on a true story, or, well, it's probably based on a true story because obviously it's 1860. Historical fiction, right? Yeah. I'll be okay one day. All right. Then the next one we had is Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abiki. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name because I am going to butcher it, and I don't want to do that. Okay. So this is, I believe, a thriller. It says, secrets haunt these hallowed halls. It's like I keep stumbling into a dark room, searching for the switch to make things bright again. Sadie Hussein is starting her third year of high school, this time at the prestigious Alfred Nobel Academy boarding school after being homeschooled. Misfortune has been a constant companion throughout her life, but even Sadie doesn't expect her new roommate, Elizabeth, to disappear after Sadie's first night, or for people to think she had something to do with it. With rumors swirling around her, Sadie catches the attention of the girls collectively known as the Unholy Trinity, and they bring her into their fold. Between learning more about them, especially Persephone, who Sadie is inexplicably drawn to, and playing catch-up in class, Sadie already has so much on her plate. But when it seems people don't care enough about what happened to Elizabeth, it's up to her and Elizabeth's best friend, Baz, to investigate. And then a student is found dead. So, there we go. So, mystery, little bit of intrigue, thrilling, dead person. Which is, usually the case for these types of books. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that one. It's about a 400-page read, so that will spice things up. And then the last, we have the one that I'm probably looking forward to the most out of all of them, which is A Gathering of Shadows. I read the first book in the series in October, okay, Darker Shade of Magic, and I did really enjoy that one. So this one will actually fall on my series challenge because it is a continuation of a series that I read last year, because that's how my challenge works. Yeah, so definitely looking forward to this one. 500 pages, nice fluffy book again though, so it'll make it easier to read. I am not going to read anything about this one because I don't want to give any of it away because it is a continuation. But the first book in this series was about the idea of magic, and magic exists in certain colored realms, and only specific people can pass through these realms, and Kel would be one of them. And so he is kind of our main character. And then there's Lila. I think it's Lila. It doesn't mention her on here, but I think that's her here. And she is like kind of a thief, pickpocket. And he ran into her and they started working together. There's no relationship there. They just started working together. And it was really fantastic. And I enjoyed the first book. So very much looking forward to continuing on. So those are our 5 books for this round of Love It or Lose It. So we'll see how this goes. Now, if I get into any of these books and I decide to DNF, which is possible, then what I'll do is we'll spin the wheel again and pick another book. Okay, so that could come up at any point in the vlog series once I get it started and rolling. And yeah, so you guys are never going to know what could pop up in between, because it could be something completely different from what is already on this list of 5. But every vlog is going to have 5 read books, okay? Minimum. So now, if I do DNF, I may not do it this time around simply because one of the books is 1,000 pages. So it's all going to kind of depend on how much reading is involved in the 5. And I'll play it by ear. So that's how it's going to go for every vlog. And then, so this is April, May, and June. So then in June, we will pull for July, August, September. Okay? And that way you get them ahead and you know what's coming. So these are always going to be pulled slightly ahead of my actual TBR videos. And you'll always get to see and you get to have some fun with them. But, you know, I'm not going to read them ahead because I have a pretty full TBR for March. And I just want to get, and I got a lot of great books that I want to get read. So these are going to get read in between everything else. Should be fun. We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. Okay, so that's it for this video, and we will see you the next time around, I guess.